Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this very, very special and first session of the Google Gemini series. We are embarking on a series called Transforming Higher Education with Google Gemini. And before I introduce to you our expert for today, which I'm sure you're going to be very, very excited about, I just need to make a very, very important announcement to all the participants here today, which is you will see in the description, there's a kind of a link which is pinned, which is based on a feedback form. We need you to fill in that feedback form, obviously, at the end of the session, because that is going to record the validity of your attendance at the session, and thereby we will issue the certificates which we have promised you. So I will remind you once again at the end to do that. There is a link. It would be advisable for you to do it immediately after the session and not delay it. You will also find a document which is entitled 50 Ways to Use Google Gemini. And how exciting is that? You don't have to do anything there. That is just something that you will find very interesting to use. So click on that as well. Don't worry, I will remind you once again at the end. You will also be getting some email from us, so keep checking your inbox. There's a survey and some other collaterals which will really, really help us understand your needs and give you a better kind of interaction from our side. So with that, and without any more consumption of time, I'm going to actually introduce our speaker today, Sangeeta Gulati ma'am. Very, very well known in education circles, especially those who are tech savvy, lean towards mathematics and science. She is a National ICT Award winner 2016, a Fulbright Distinguished Award winner in 2011, and also a leader of the GEG, which is a Google educator group in the Delhi NCR region. And she is, needless to say, a Google certified trainer and innovator, and that is why she is here today. So, Sangeeta ma'am, namaste. Assalamu alaikum.
Namaste.
Welcome, and I'm going to hand straight over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to bringing the magic of Gemini to all our students who are joining in today. And I'm going to just start off by sharing my screen so that we can get going. So again, today's session is all about Gemini, the magic of Google AI. And we are going to be talking about Gemini for students. So let's hope, you get the best out of this for today and follow up and let us know how you are going to use the learnings of today in your curriculum, in your day-to-day learning. So here we go. We are going to be talking about Gemini for students. And thank you so much, Sushma ma'am, for introducing me. Pleasure to be here with all of you so that we can talk and share the love of learning, which is what I think is most important. So what's the session about? Session is about introducing you to Gemini, to talk about the Google's AI assistant, not just by understanding what it can do, but by also learning how it can make your study life easier, more efficient, more personalized. We will look at Gemini, how it can support you in planning and writing assignments, studying, developing your academic skills. All this while you stay responsible user and also in line with what the university's expectations are. So the goal is to give you confidence in this 90 minutes to help you feel informed, in control, and ready to use Gemini in ways that genuinely support your learning without replacing it. So what are we going to be doing? We are going to be talking about a little bit about the basics of AI. Also, what is correct and not a correct way, but mostly correct way. So AI ethics and academic integrity. We will also look at a little bit on how to write a prompt, what makes the AI, especially Gen AI, respond well, And then we will get into live demos of Gemini, various tools, and not to forget the magical notebook LM. Of course, we will wrap up with sharing few resources as Sushma ma'am has already promised. So that's what we are going to be talking about. And since we have you here, so thank you so much, first of all, for joining in. But let's also know what's one thing you wish AI could help you with, or maybe it's already helping you with. Because especially the generative AI has been around for more than 3 years now. So what have you used? How have you utilized this magical power to make your learning and your time at the learning place, whether it was in school and now at university, better, or what you wish it can do? Do use the YouTube chat. I know I would not be able to keep up with it, but people in the team are going to follow your chat, and we will also record some of your genuine questions and queries that are going in the chat, and we will try to answer them as we wrap up the session. So maybe as a student, what would you want AI to do for you? Could be to score better, 100%. That should be your topmost, aim. But also maybe you want to save time. You want to learn better, not just score better. All of that is possible if we use AI in a purposeful and knowing and knowledgeable way. So before we jump into the tools, let's take a moment to ground ourselves in the basics. And I'm not going to be giving you a full computer science lesson here, just enough so that you understand the tech and spot those buzzwords that are around and feel more confident using these tools in your own way. So that's what we are going to be talking about for a very short time. So if you are asked to define artificial intelligence, what would be the way that you would try to express? Think of that and look at what we are giving you as a broad way of expressing what artificial intelligence is. So yes, artificial intelligence is something which powers so many of our tools in our daily life and has been around for very, very long. It's not the 3 years that I just mentioned. That is when generative AI became popular. But right from the Google Maps, giving you the directions, to recommending YouTube videos, recommending you the videos, to improving accessibility, to simplify complex ideas and technologies. That is what artificial intelligence has been all around us. So what is artificial intelligence, or AI as we like to use that acronym? That refers to a computer programs that have the ability to mimic the certain cognitive functions which we usually associate with human intelligence. So the way our brain think, we are looking at now the computers thinking like that. So that includes recognizing patterns, making recommendations, interpreting languages. So that's quite a powerful, one would say, talent or ability that computers have gained. And definitely, we are looking at that making a difference in our life. So moving on, what are we looking at? And today, especially as the focus is on Google AI. So one would wonder why Google, which was known as a popular and so powerful search engine, what is Google, or why is Google developing this AI? So again, it goes back to the core mission of Google, and that is to organize the world's information, make it universally accessible and useful. So AI is just one of those powerful tools to help bring that mission to life. And Google has been seeing this technology transformation for a very, very long time and been working on AI in various places, various ways for a very long time. So again, we are looking at what the philosophy of today's tool is, the philosophy of what Google believes in, that is to empower people to work alongside us and make everyday task easier. That is the philosophy which runs or is behind the Google AI tools that we are going to explore today. As I said, we are going to look at small buzzwords, some terms that we are hearing all around us, but not get into a full-fledged computer science lecture. So two terms that you must have heard or you are very familiar with, maybe you are an expert in, two terms that are showing up here. One is machine learning. So again, AI conversations, whenever it comes up with these kind of terms, right? Machine learning, ML. So machine learning is a subset of AI. Instead of being told exactly what to do, these systems learn by spotting the patterns in the data. That is how machine learns. And that's what machine learning is, very, very broadly in a very general sense. And then not only stopping at that, but improving itself based on what they identify the pattern to be. So that is what you are seeing all around. So much progress is happening in AI, and so is in ML. Generative AI, when we talk about, or Gen AI, that's a special kind of artificial intelligence which we are nowadays enjoying. It focuses on taking loads of information and then create something new. Now that what it creates could be text, images, even code, right? Gen AI can help you write the codes or even make great videos, make music as well, audios as well. So we are looking at all of that happening with the help of power of generative AI. Another, look at some of the terms that we are going to be maybe referring to or mention. I have already talked about prompts. So what is prompt? It's something which you use as an input to request AI to create something. And that is how you guide the system. You guide the system based on the questions, instructions, contextual information, and also sometimes examples, because that makes it better. Tokens are again some small chunks of information that AI uses to process languages. So again, like part of a word, image, or video. It's how AI reads and corresponds and responds to your input. And finally, the context window. That's the amount of information that AI can process at once, which is measured in tokens. So you must have got a message like, you have exhausted tokens of the day if you've been playing around with a particular tool and you're not on a paid license and something just stops working for you. So that is what we are looking at here as well, the limitations that comes in. And it is something like a short-term memory of AI, and it can only remember a certain amount of new information at one time before it starts to forget. So the longer the context window, the more information a model can take in and progress. So we may just, as we go along to digging deeper into Gemini, somewhere the reference might come up. Do not worry if these terms are too overwhelming for you, because what I have next in store for you is going to be a lot of fun. So if you can also, join in on a bigger device and watch the session alongside, you will be able to try something hands-on also, even if we have just 90 minutes. Leaving that entirely to you to decide. Or you can come back and watch the recording later and try some of the ideas that we are going to share. So what are we going to do? Meet Gemini. And when you look at Gemini, it's just as any personal AI assistant that you got a chance to work with, all given by Google. And this is a result of decades rather, of AI research done by Google, built from the ground up with the advanced language understanding and reasoning. So that is what we are going to be talking about to begin with. Again, in the chat, let me know if you have tried out Gemini, whether it was as a mobile app or on the web. So you can, if you have not tried earlier, try to scan the code and download Gemini on your mobile device as well. And then we can get going, start working with it. Or if you have opened a web app, going to gemini.google.com, then this is the interface that you would be able to see. right? So that is what we are going to be exploring. Before we start looking at it a little more closely, as I said earlier, Gemini is built to help you work with information more easily, whether it is research, revision of content material, planning, or just getting things done more efficiently. One of the things that you must learn and understand, because I might use this term again, Gemini is known to be multimodal, which basically means it understands more than just text. It can process documents, images, links, and now thanks to that amazing Nano Banana integration with Gemini 3, it can generate high quality images from text descriptions, very useful for presentations, visual study aids, or the creative projects that you may want to try out. And again, one of the most powerful feature is its ability to handle large volumes of information. So let's start looking at Gemini very closely through its web app. And this is basically broadly the anatomy of Gemini looks like. On the left side is where you can start a new chat. When you have a chat box open, you can use files as a context, so you can upload files. You can also look at giving the prompt just by speaking into it. You don't need to type. There are also tools of Gemini, which we are going to explore, most of them. That is the deep research. We are looking at guided learning, of course, create images, Canvas. These are some of the very, very helpful tools when you start exploring with Gemini. So that is what your, one would say, the first glance and first look of the Gemini looks like on web app. Again, what does it do? Some of the use cases, very quickly take a look at them and you will understand what I have just said. It will help you to deepen understanding. It will help you to prepare for your exams by creating those personalized practice quizzes, brainstorm and research ideas. So if you are even looking for a topic or a concept that you need to build up as a research for your future, you can brainstorm research ideas. You can also get feedback on the writing. You can generate the citations of the documents that you might have created. Also, not to forget, if you have your resume ready, want somebody to check, ask Gemini. And it will also help you to create those mock interview questions. So you can see that there is so much that we have to explore today. So let's get going. We'll also not forget to include a discussion on NotebookLM, which is absolutely your personalized AI research assistant, based or grounded on the sources that you want to refer to. I'll again explain that in a live demo, what I meant by just these one sentence that I have said. But the magic of NotebookLM is the output that it creates. You will be able to have audio overview, video overview, quizzes. You'll have also flashcards, infographics, so much waiting for you to explore. So let's get going in this direction, but not to also forget that everything that we are going to do must be done with an understanding that we should not break rules. We should be sensitive enough to look at the possibility of how or what is acceptable. So using AI responsibly in your studies is most important. Definitely, if your university has a checklist of what is allowed, what is not allowed, follow on that. Always, whenever you use any AI tool, do not share your personal, sensitive, or confidential information. Write clear, specific prompts so that you get a best result. Always, always check AI output for accuracy, bias, and also the missing perspectives, which can be quite dangerous. Always acknowledge meaningful AI use. So if you have used AI to create something, give a little bit of acknowledgement in the presentations, in the sharing, wherever you are taking that forward. Also, make sure that the final work that you are using reflects your own thinking. So use AI to support learning, not replace it. So with these words, I think we are ready to start exploring generative AI and more specifically Google AI Gemini. But what are you going to ask Gemini? That matters. And that is where the prompt comes in. So one of the fundamental skill is to learn to write these effective prompts. There are various frameworks that are being advocated. Gemini in particular specifies that use the prompt framework of parts. So when I say parts, it's just an acronym, as you can see on the slide. The P would stand for persona, A for act, R for recipient, T for theme, S for structure. So persona is like you are setting Gemini a role and then ask it clearly what you want it to do. Mention who it is for. And then, of course, the topic and what kind of output do you want? Do you want it to be a bullet list, or do you want a passage? Do you want it to be a certain image? You need to specify. So here is one prompt that you can see on my screen right now. And if I now try to break this down, then you are looking at acting as a physics expert. Explain the concept of entropy in thermodynamics. So acting as a physics expert becomes the persona. And then we are looking at what have understood the concept well enough before the new session comes up, or when you want to test yourself, you want to prepare yourself. How would you do that? So this is where I'm going to start my live demo by kind of a quiz for me so that I can revise what I have learned today. This is what is going to happen. So in Gemini, this is the kind of create an interactive you might have learned in your, that's it. Let's just go with this and see how this works out. Again, you are looking at two possible models here in a free license, not paid. Answer quickly. And thinking with 3 Pro comes with the benefits of Nano Banana and the power of Gemini 3. I'm going to try with fast only right now and see what you get. Fast only right now and see what you get. So I'm asking it to create an interact where I might be able to check the answers as well. I didn't ask it to, but take a look at what comes up on my screen. In game theory, if you know the answer, you can let me know in the chat. I'm not going to think too much about the answers, but I'm looking at random, although this one was something I know, so I'm going to go with that. But let's look at as a possibility of not when the question is not. Let's look at as a possibility of not when the question is not correct of such a quiz like that. And that doesn't stop just there. So I'm just moving on with some more responses. So I had 5 questions. I have done all. And now comes more interesting part of it. Not only you have attempted a quiz, you get a report right there. Nobody else is looking at it. You only are looking at it. You can analyze your performance. You can go further, keep learning. You can create flashcards based on this topic. topic. You can create study guide. You can review your quiz to see which questions were wrong and which is right. You can also create more questions and more questions on all the topics or growth area. That means the questions that you did not get right, it will only create a quiz on those. How many quiz questions you want, that can be done. You can make it to be harder or the same difficulty level and so on. This is just the plain simple chat, and I have used the fast, not the Gemini 3 version in the model right now. I hope you're impressed with what we have done, and maybe you have tried something of your own as well alongside. Since we are running tight on time, I'm going ahead, racing ahead to my second scenario. Second scenario says you are running through a practice exam, but the questions may not be making sense to you. So it could be that, you've come on holidays and there's no one to guide you. Maybe your friends are not cooperating as well. Who would you ask as to how to do your homework or how to revisit the concept? Instead of just, going into the Google and finding the answers for it, let's make use of one of the most powerful tool of Gemini made for students, known as guided learning. Based on the principle of learning, guided learning acts like your AI tutor who will help you to learn the topic by guided questions, probing questions, and not answering you everything in one go. So this is where you are going to see the magic of the power of Gemini as we look at the concept of the guided learning. So again, what guided learning does, so suppose I have a big homework. Again, I'm going to jump into the live demo and try to show you exactly what we are going to do. So moving out of this quiz, always start with a new chat. We want to give a complete new reference. We are here. And here is where I'm going to put the question. Help me with this homework problem. Describe the primary functions of the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, SER, and explain all of that. I want Gemini to help, but I'm not going to click on or submit this right away. I'm going to use or click on the tools and choose guided learning. This is the most important step. Do not submit the prompt till you have selected which tool you want to follow with. So I'm going to use the guided learning tool, and let's see if it shows up. Let me just refresh for a second to make sure that I get that happen. And this is where I'm going to put my homework and guided learning. Did you see what I did right now? I reloaded the page. For some reason, it didn't show me exactly. This must get highlighted, not just that submit the prompt. Now, when I submit this, then guided learning will start happening in terms of what the question is, what the prompt is, what do you want to learn. It starts explaining to you your homework, but not giving you the answer directly. So it starts by exploring the difference, and then it says, okay, let's focus on two types, and it also gives you an image. And this image now, especially as I said, now in the last 10 days, is now an interactive image. You can click on explore, and this becomes an interactive image. As you move to the parts of the image, you get more information. If I say nucleus, I have been able to read about that, or another part. So it is any figure or image that has come in, that becomes an interactive image for you to learn with. That's one plus that I'm sharing, and a pro tip that I'm sharing with you. But let's focus on guided learning. What does it say? It says, which aspect would you like to start with? So you've not got the entire answer in one go. You've not got your solutions. You're not going to do that because we want to learn. We don't want to just copy the homework. So here is where it starts chatting to you. It also video to watch, right? So you don't have to get out of this interface. And then maybe you want to talk about the first chemical arsenal. I really don't know much about it, but I'm going to go and say, okay, let's continue with the chat. And it says, what do you want to learn? Continuing from there, I'm going to only type number one. Number one was the first choice it gave me. So I don't even have to type in my entire request as to what I want to do. So it says, okay, that's a great place to start. And it starts leading me with the information and then ending with the question as well. So it leads you with, as I said, probing questions in a very Socratic way. And it says, how does this structural difference relate to its focus on lipid synthesis, etc., etc. This is what guided learning is. Do opt for this because you are the one who has to make the choice. What tool you want, what do you want to, and how do you want to learn? So these are not default settings. You will choose, activate the tool whichever you want. Once you know guided learning is there and you want to learn in a better way, deeper way, I'm sure you would be happy to try out guided learning, no matter what you want to learn. So again, what can you do with guided learning? Definitely homework help, right? Coding help. You can even ask for code. I'm having trouble figuring out why my code is not working. And can you help me understand what's wrong with it? Insert the code and it will respond. Learn about a new topic before drafting a paper. Exam prep, always helpful, not only homework. Explore a curiosity. It doesn't have to be always heavy stuff of homework and exam. What if you are passionate about photography and you have never had an opportunity to learn about it? Learn using guided learning. So that's the magic of this specific tool that you have just had a chance to examine. Let's know in the chat, what is your mind and heart telling you to do next? What would you like to learn? Now that you have seen that Gemini is not only about a simple chat, not only about the creating those trending figurines, but also learn. So we are going to look at your chat later and see, how you are engaging with us today. Please let us know in chat which one use that you think you are going to put to now that you have experienced the possibilities that guided learning brings to you, right? So as I said, I will be checking out the chat again later and try to get back to you. I also will check out on some of the questions and we'll bring that up. But right now, continuing with the flow. Okay, so let's get going with what's next. What do you do else in your day-to-day working as a student? Definitely a scenario like this. You've been asked to give a short presentation for one of your classes. You have your topic, but now what do you want? You need to do research. Definitely, library is your place to go. You can refer to all kinds of journals. Definitely a possible way of you to build up your content. But then if you're looking for much more than what the books would give you, you're looking at a possibility of what we call as deep research. So topic is there, you know what you want to achieve, but you want to gather all possible resources, all possible maybe papers, information that has been said or done about it. Well, not all, you can't all literally do that, but you want to know the best that's possible. You want to explore those key areas and start shaping your main points based on those information. That is where deep research comes in. So if you had noticed Gemini tools, then one of them was deep research. So what does deep research do? Deep research would basically help you to search for the topic that you are looking for. And what it does is basically it browses automatically hundreds of websites, not just a few, hundreds of websites on your behalf, think through its findings, and then create insightful multi-page reports. Does that sound exciting to you? That's what happens. So let's start testing it out and see what else comes out other than those multi-page reports. You'll be surprised to see and excited to see the possibilities that it will bring to you. If you are on a bigger device with me, try this, because you can't watch the session and try it simultaneously. But think of a topic that you want to research, right? I'm going to take a very wide idea and let's see what I get out of that. So I'm going to look at it. Perhaps you are an academic research assistant, and you are telling Gemini that you are an academic research assistant, and then tell it what your requirements are. So again, I'm going to bring the prompt into the live demo. And again, don't forget that you have to change the chat. So start with the chat. And since now that this has opened up, take a look at the left-hand side. All the chats that we are doing are showing up on the left side. So they do not vanish. They're very much there. You can access them at a later time, and you can revisit, enhance, start conversation again, wherever you have left it. So right now I've opened up a new chat, and I'm going to put the prompt of my deep research topic. So here is my deep research topic. I'm preparing a short university presentation on how social media affects focus and productivity. I think this could be of interest to many of you. I've already explored ideas like digital distraction, multitasking, and I would like to build on those. So you must do your groundwork. Also, what do you want to come out of this? Please include a table of key takeaways and list 10 relevant credible resources or sources that I can use to begin my reading. Now, prompts, as we said earlier, are completely optional in terms of how you design. More details you give, more specific mention that you do of what you are aiming to achieve gets better. If you had only said that I want research on social media, how social media affects focus and productivity, Gemini will definitely respond, but you may not exactly get what you are looking for. So you may have to edit or start the conversation or iterate again. Second thing, click on the tools and deep research. Select deep research. Take a look at what else shows up on my screen now. I can look at more sources to be added from here, going into the Google search and into the Google workspace. So I might have something from search or even some documents that are in my Gmail. So there is an integration of workspace with it. Maybe you have already done your groundwork on this topic and there are documents in your drive on this topic. Maybe you've been talking to your guide, your mentor about this through Google Chat, and there are some documents there. So this can be your reference material as well. Or you can upload files. So again, you can click on that, go into your local storage, and you can get those files that are related to it. You can also add files from here, add from Drive, upload files, or even photos. Right now, I'm doing none of that, but continuing with just this prompt, and I'm going to submit this prompt here. Now, deep research, as I said earlier, will browse through hundreds of websites. So the response of deep research will take a little time. So we have to be patient on that. But what else happens? It doesn't start researching in your place immediately. It tries to create a path and ask you to see, check it. Is this what you want? So it suggests that this is the path it's going to follow. Search for academic literature, etc. Then investigate. And then there are more suggestions. Take a look at 8 points that it has listed as its design of the research. You can edit this plan. If you think, no, I want something else to be added in, I can edit this plan or not. So I can start research. So when I start research, it starts working on hundreds of websites. So we're going to take a look at what comes up on my screen before I suggest that we take something which is already prepared. But as it starts thinking through, it shows its thinking. It shows thinking as to what it is doing. It says, I'm initiating a comprehensive academic investigation. What are its focus areas? What are the next steps? And then it also gives you the researching websites, making it to be a very authentic research that you can rely on. And you can also take a second look at any one of them that you may want to revisit. It confirms the cognitive and productive costs, etc., 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 adds more websites. Now, this again might take more than 2 minutes, maybe not. But this will now generate that multi-page reports, right? So let's just keep that working. You can leave this chat. Take a look at this. It says, great, I'm on it. So your research assistant is already at it. You can move on, make a cup of tea if you want, but we are not going to do that. We are going to check if I have something almost similar prepared beforehand so that you get to see the possibility coming in. So this, I think, is the one that I did test run and kept ready so that I have lots of things to show you today and not wait for it to process. So this is what it has done, and it created the report right here. Take a look at this entire multi-page report that it has generated based on the prompt that we had given and activated the deep research. Is that impressive? Maybe it is too much for you to process. Maybe you want to understand this information better. And what better way to understand an information than putting that in an infographic format or creating a web page so that this information, this research that you have done, you can share with others as well. So that is where, of course, you can share and export from here, but this can get limited if you're working in your workspace domain, like your education domain. You can only share within your domain. So what else can you do? Would you want to create a web page out of that? There is a create button. Here is where you can create a web page, infographic, quiz even. Because if you are going to present this research, I'm sure somebody is going to ask you questions on this. So are you prepared? Have you actually understood what you have done? Not just generated a report. You can also create flashcards to check and revise, review what your content is. And very interestingly, audio overview. Maybe you want to prepare yourself just a day before you go, right? So as you are looking at it.
Hello.
Okay, sorry. I think I didn't change my screen. I have changed that as suddenly realized. Thank you for prompting me. So yeah, where were we? Did we come to this page? Is this okay? Did we see the research happening? I hope that happened. Let me check where I had stopped. Oh, sorry. So we missed the guided learning part. I'm sorry. I didn't change the tab. So what I'm going to do is just take you back there and show you where I was so excitedly showing the deep research, but it didn't turn out. Let's go back. Never mind. Let's check this again. So here is where I had prompted. I'm going to just trace my steps back. I'm sure you can see the same prompt that I was reading up coming here. Click on tools and deep research. This is what I did earlier. And I'm going to click on submit. And all that you were hearing me talking about, I'm going to show you again. This is where the magic is. You have to see this. So I'm going to take 5 minutes going back. This is where the action plan shows up. Start research, or you want to edit the plan. If I give it a go ahead and say start research, right? You are looking at the action happening, checking out or showing what it is thinking about, also looking at the various websites. So I did mention that there are going to be so many websites that are going to show up. This is where the magic is happening. Show thinking, and then it lists out all the website that it is scrounging to find the best information regarding the topic that you have decided to research. Going further down, you are looking at more, content coming in. It's going to, as I said, take a little time because so much is being processed. So what I did and what I was trying to show is that I have something on the same thing ready here, which I'm going to open up so that we can start, exploring together. And I'm going to find my previous attempted task. This is what it was, coming back to the same prompt that we had. And let's open up that report that came up. I hope we are good now. And we are on the page that we wanted to see. Same prompt that I had given earlier, same idea of outline of the research, and then it generated into those multi-page document. I hope you're back with me on this and you're able to relate to what I was suggesting, right? So sorry, because I just didn't change the tab. What else I was trying to talk about is it's just not these multi-page reports. Best thing is happening here. You can transform this entire research report that has come in various ways, in various artifacts. You can turn it into a web page, infographic, presenting that entire information in a diagrammatic format. You can also create a quiz based on this content, flashcards, audio overview. All of that is possible just by choosing what you want to do. I have tried something, kept it ready, and we'll check the earlier prompt as well. So what are the various ways that we are looking at? This is one of the possible outcome that it has resulted in. And you can again see everything is being done actually by coding these infographics, etc. And that is happening with another tool of Gemini called Canvas. So Canvas is a very interactive space in Gemini, which in real time codes, and you can interact with it as well. So I want to bring your attention to this little icon here. This is where it has already by itself, depending on what you want to create, it has activated Canvas, right? We were doing deep research. We got our text, content and report, but now it has turned it into this amazing report, which I can then start looking at and performing with. So that's you're looking at as a multi-page kind of an interactive artifact that I can use. Or if I want to take the code from here and maybe create an HTML file and have another link ready, which I can share with my peers or with my mentor, or embed that into my Google site and have the same content shareable. Because if you have done a research, you want to take it ahead, you want to share it with your institution as well. What else is possible? Amazingly, as we said earlier, of course, the infographic. So here comes the infographic for you to take a look at, depending again on the topic, depending again on how much data is there, how much visualization is possible, it is going to create. And take a look at this again. Everything is very interactive. As I take my cursor there, it's showing exactly what this information is representing. There's a pie chart as well, showing you the various information available and using emojis, etc., giving you a content which is so more, one would say, attractive, easy to read, easy to understand. Where did we start it all from? Taking you back a step, deep research. So in deep research, we first created multi-page document, didn't stop there. We went into the create mode and we started creating these other possibilities: web page, infographic. Let me show you the audio overview as well, because we love to hear, learn by, following those podcasts. So what if you want to hear your research, so that, as you are on the move, maybe you are coming from, home to the college, you want to then check out this, revise your content. That is a possibility here. I'm going to play this. I hope you'll be able to hear this. Sometime, technically some challenges always are there, but if it doesn't, if you're not able to hear, somebody in the control room will give me a sign that they are not able to hear, and I won't spend too much time on it. But do try when you do it to create audio overview. It's amazing. So I'm going to play this and let's see if you can hear it. So just checking if you could hear, because I'm not able to, for some reason, see the chat right now. Could you hear the team?
No,
you can't.
We have not.
Yeah, I have. That is some of the challenges when we, use audio, although I'm sharing a tab in the Meet, but could be a possibility that I'm not able to, but that's a sad thing. But I'm sure once you try this on your own, you will be able to, try it and hear it. Amazing audio overview. It gives you like two people taking, doing a podcast where they're interacting, talking to each other. So definitely give it a try and you will be amazed at it. So there is so much that you can, look at, not stopping at audio overview, continuing with the same research. What if you want to revise this topic? Do the flashcards work for you? Here are the flashcards that are created on the same theme, same prompt, and then we are able to interact with it. You click on it, get the answers. You want to revise, assess your own preparation, shuffle the cards, think of, when attention residue was talked about, what is it? What does that word or vocabulary means? You will be able to proceed, and revise all of this in various formats. So definitely, as you, FOMO, who doesn't know FOMO? So you're looking at fear of missing out. So you are looking at revising these terms that are there in the report, because our topic is such: social media focus and productivity. Any other topic, whether it is for a presentation or an actual research paper that you are working on, to try to get into deep research, but very, very carefully review everything that you have created. Do not take it at its face value. Check the sources, check the credibility of those sources, and then give it your own touch. That is what we have talked about right at the beginning in terms of what is acceptable socially as well, right? All right, moving on with that as to, what we are going to be talking about next. I hope you are now thinking of the ways that you can use deep research. Where would you go for it? Maybe identify your research gaps, grant proposals. Why not? Explore career paths. Ensure the accuracy. If you have got various technical claims in a paper, check. Explore interdisciplinary connections. All of that is possible with deep research. We still would want to hear and see what you are going to be doing. So use the chat, let us know, where do you think deep research fits in with your profile as a student in the current scenario. Moving to our next possibility scenario, again coming up. We have finished a class, right? And maybe it was too fast for you. You want to revisit it again. You want to learn again, ask a few questions, do it at your own pace. Not only a situation like this, but many more would help you or can be helped with what is called as gems in Gemini. Gems are basically personalized, customized AI that you are going to create for yourself. It will only perform the actions based on what you have designed it for. So creating, customizing an AI for yourself is where we are talking about gems. So let's talk about one particular gem which is available pre-prepared, known as a learning coach gem. And what learning coach gem does is when you chat with it, it will give you a tailored response. It will not just go and search across the web for that information. It will only talk to you in terms of the context and the topic that you are thinking about. Very much like a guided learning, but this particular gem is created for you to learn. But let me show you what are the other gems that we are looking at. So getting back to our Gemini live example, and we are not going to actually start with this chat. We are looking at the left panel, and there is where you will be able to explore gems. So this is where we are looking at gems. If you have a slightly older version in your device, it might show you as a explore gems, but this is where we are looking at gems coming in. And some of these gems under Gem Manager are pre-prepared, pre-made by Google. You can very interesting, but we are going to skip that. Considering you are slightly in a higher education, perhaps you may not find that to be of interest, but you can create a customized picture book. There are all these gems that are ready for you to start exploring. I'm going to focus on learning coach, but if suppose you are looking for an idea, an inspiration, even if it is for a friend's birthday gift or a research topic for your dissertation, brainstormer is your gem, right? Coding partner, writing editor, chess if you are looking for learning. I'm going to go into the learning coach. Now, learning coach is made to support you to learn and practice new concepts. So it says, tell me what you would like to learn, and I will help you get started. It's as basic as this. It's very direct. It's just asking you, what do you want to learn? So think of, what topic you want to learn. Maybe I'm still sticking to the, theme of social media. So if I want to ask this learning related at an undergraduate level, right? So that's what we are looking at as a possibility, just a small prompt. And let me show you what it does. Let's submit this. And again, I've not changed the tool because I'm in Gems. So Gems, a customized AI version of Gemini. It will only answer the question that you have asked as a learning coach, because I've chosen the learning plan for you. It also, ask you what you would want to do. And then it says, okay, ready to dive into the first subtopic of it. And if you just say yes, and it will start chatting with you, asking you questions, telling you some information, but guiding you to learn as well. So learning coach is pre-made by Google Gem, which you are free to use to learn anything. You start the conversation, it will start talking to you in that same level. You can mention as an undergraduate student or as a postgrad student, and you want to mention what topic you want to learn. And it will give you a choice, what you want to do next. So it says, would you like to try a quick quiz question? Right? It doesn't let you go. So you can always say, yes, quiz me, and just reinforce the learning that we are doing. So that is what we are looking at as in Gems. Now, let's look at how you can create your own gem. Gems are being used is where you are looking at a possibility of gem behaving like a coach, where you for an right. So it will also be possible for you to say what profile on it, and it will check the body language. It will give you a feedback on how you are projecting your information, presenting your information, etc. Sticking to the academics, I'm just taking a moment to load Gemini. So give me a moment of fixing this. No interruption has happened. I'm going to check the meet as well. Yeah, screen is visible. So let's go and check out how to create a new gem. This is where you have a new gems icon. Click on the new gem. And this is where we are going to be starting the conversation, asking it, giving it a prompt as to what it's going to create. You can give it a name. So you can, what you want to design it as. I'm planning to make it again a coach only for me, say EVS coach. And not only leaving it at that. Is there a concern? I'm hearing some noise. Okay.
No, it's fine.
All right. So we are looking at a possibility of giving some description as to what the role of this gem is going to be, and also what behavior this gem must follow. So I want this gem to help me to learn a particular content, a particular course, a particular topic of my studies. So I'm going to give it an instruction that act as a joyful, engaging, patient EVS tutor and personal learning coach. And what is your role? You're going to give me like an undergraduate student through the coursework, help grasp key concepts, etc. I also set the tone that stay cheerful, interactive, encouraging. Maybe use emojis liberally because that's what we love, right? And create a fun conversation and lively learning environment. You can customize it any way you want. Not just stopping at that, there is this little pen icon. Because if you had not written enough, you want Gemini to do the hard work for you. You can click on this Gemini pen to rewrite the instructions. You can see it's like, scribbling away what I had written. And now it has extended that prompt to a very detailed prompt telling what this gem is going to do. So again, 80% AI is doing that work. 20% or even less is what you are going to do to create this, right? More, you can add a file. So suppose you have your textbook with you. You want to learn that textbook or a particular content out of that. You can actually upload a PDF or add from the Google Drive. So let me see if I can upload a file here. So if I'm looking at a particular file, let's see if I can quickly search for that. My file is called EVS. Okay, sorry, it's not right now here. So I'm going to just search because I've moved it perhaps. I had a PDF which I'm going to search for and bring that up right away. So, well, that does not seem to be happening. Let me check with that. Okay, sorry, might have got lost somewhere in my enthusiasm to organize everything for the session. But typically, it is something which might be there in your drive and which you can immediately fetch. So I'm going to try once more, and then otherwise we'll leave that because you can still do the lesson, but uploading file will become much more meaningful, will become much more effective when I'm looking at a possibility of using it Okay, let me try this now. Let me go to Drive rather than local storage and try to find here. I'm pretty sure it's my EVS file is somewhere here and here. Good. So it's a long document. It's a big book, which I'm now uploading as the reference material. So this gem will now answer, follow everything that is in this book and will teach me, will help me to learn the content. That's the way you are defining the role of this gem. I'm going to just save it. You can also test run it here by prompting it to start chatting with you. I'm going to save it because I know that it should work, but if not, we can always edit the prompt. Let's start chatting with it. Just like that learning coach, this is designed by me on the topic, on the content that I have with me. You can do that for your content. How do we start talking to it? Just say hi, anything else, right? Or hello. And it will start telling you what it is designed for. And we did ask it to follow, a very cheerful tone. So it says, all right, here's, future environmental leaders. I'm your EVS coach, etc., etc. And it refers to the book. And then it says, what do you want to achieve? What are we exploring? Understanding the science, roots of the problem, or maybe impacts and so. So you can mention what you want to learn. So maybe I will say, okay, understanding the science. I want to learn this now. And it will start taking me through that content. So this coach or this gem is designed to take me through the content. You can think of what you would like to create. Maybe you are trying to build up a certain support system. If you're running a club, for example, there are certain FAQs that your colleagues may want to, or your peers may want to know, and they're repeatedly bothering you. So if you have a manual for your club or hackathon or any other big event that you're doing, you can build a gem that will only answer those FAQs. As simple as that. And share that gem with them in terms of just a link. I'm going to show that as well, how you can share. And then if you ask, when is the last date? When is the due date of submission? What format of the file I must submit? Even simple things like that, it will prompt and it will tell you exactly what the answers are going to be without bothering you again and again. So that is what you're looking at as gems in Gemini, doing amazing help, giving us amazing help to make our work easier, save time, of course, and make us learn better. How do we share a gem? You can click on this little icon and it will give you the link which you can share with others. Again, looking at what way you want them to use. If you want them to only use it, not edit it, or do you want them to be a collaborator? So it is almost like sharing a Google document, but anyone with a link or restricted, I can, choose somebody with whom I want to share, and I'm ready to send it out as well. So that's the way. But again, every education domain, if you are working and studying in, might have its own restrictions. So within the institution, you will be able to share, but you may not be able to share outside your domain. Also, if you are a Google Workspace for education user, Google Classroom has gems integrated. So your professors will learn as well, or have already learned how to create the gems. They can share gems with you through Google Classroom so that you can learn better and make the most of the generative AI that is possible, with Gemini that we are talking about. So that's a lot that we have covered now. And still there is so much more, considering if you only want to spend time on Gemini. But we are looking at the time, and I don't want to miss out on something very, very important, and that is NotebookLM. NotebookLM is, as I mentioned earlier, is one of the most sought after tool of Gemini, of Google AI, where it's making a huge difference in the way we learn. So it is AI powered research partner. It's like having an intelligent notebook. The term notebook has come from there. It's like collection of information that lets you interact with all your research. Now, whether it is your class notes, which you might have, just scribbled, or your professor has given you handouts, your study table is full of papers and textbooks and content. You want to use all of them, but only use all of them and not other information that when we go into any kind of a Google search or in terms of deep research as well, things that we have just talked about, we were searching across the web. But if you want to limit your research and your reference, your learning only to few documents that you have personally identified, that is where NotebookLM comes in. So it's what we call as it's grounded into the sources that you share. And what kind of sources? It could be PDFs, it could be YouTube links, Google Docs, you are looking at slides, various website links, all of them, and it also understands over 50 languages. So that's the power, right? So again, as I said, all that we are going to interact with in NotebookLM, it will be grounded only in the information you share. So if you are creating a NotebookLM for, physics, a topic of physics, and you ask a question on Shakespeare, it will not answer to you because it's not meant to answer. It's only going to answer on the content that have. But if that content has even a mention of Shakespeare anywhere, it will come back to you and answer you. So that is the power of NotebookLM. So are we ready to take a look at what NotebookLM looks like if you have not explored it earlier? This is what the anatomy of NotebookLM looks like. There are basically 3 panels there. One for the source, the other where the chat happens, where the interaction happens, and the third where we are looking at the various kind of outputs that you would get, which could be audio, video, infographics. You're also looking at mind maps, various possibilities. And if you are also working with Gemini Pro, you might be able to generate infographics and slide decks as well. So much possible with NotebookLM. So let's start looking at a live example of a NotebookLM and start from, thinking of what you can do with it. So here is where we are. How do we reach this page? notebooklm.google. That's the link that will bring you here. This is the kind of an interface you would get. You can click on Try NotebookLM, that big black button, and you will end up with this page where if you have never created a NotebookLM, then only certain featured notebooks will show up. These are made by Google. Again, if it is your education account, that is your college has Google Workspace for Education, you may not be able to see featured notebooks. But if you want to create your notebooks, you can come here, Start New, or this big black button, Create New. So when you click on Create New, what I showed you earlier, that interface shows up and a pop-up comes up of saying, okay, let's upload sources. So what kind of sources we can do? As I mentioned, you can take something from your Google Drive, websites, links, YouTube links. You can copy and paste text. So all of that can come here, or you can choose file, because I did mention that if you have class notes, handwritten, take JPEG, that is the picture of image of that. So JPEG, you can also use PDFs. So all of that can come right from your local storage as well, even a docx, or you can see PMP, GIF, all these formats, they can be used to upload here, right? So I'm going to just try to create a very simple two sources, perhaps notebook, and then we will see what happens or what changes. So I'm going to try and take some sources that I had kept ready with me and build a notebook on electromagnetism, right? So if suppose that's the topic you are studying or that you want to be interested in. So I'm going to click on, I want to put a link of a website. So I did save some link here and I have a page going in. And the moment even one source has been added in, it starts getting active on it. You can upload 50 sources. 50 is a large number, right? And you can upload maybe 20, but when you want to use it or refer, you can select, out from here, this checkbox as to which of or how many of these sources you want to use in the chat. Right now, I've only uploaded one. I can, search for more, or I may have some PDFs or documents with me, which I can use. But there is also a search within NotebookLM, which will help me to add sources. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put the topic. So if I just say, okay, I'm interested in learning about electromagnetism, and I just type that, then it gives me the option of which of these ways I want to look for those resources. Do I want to go and look across the web, or drive, or go into the fast research? Fast research, again, is great for quick result. Deep research, it will take time to go through and goes in depth into all the reports and results. I'm going to just go with web right now, best sources from the web related to this topic. And let's try to get at least one more source added in. So if I've chosen web, click on this arrow and it starts researching through the websites. At the same time, what you can do is, if you have a link of a YouTube video, you can, add that here. If you have a certain PDF which is being referred in your course, you can again come to add sources and you can start uploading from here as well. If you just want to copy and paste text, that's also fine. So this is where you're looking at Notebook has searched for these sources for me. You can always cross-check whether they are valid, they are relatable sources or not. You can click on this little arrow and it will open up on in a different tab. You can check the content and say, is this something relevant for you? So this is an entire, electrodynamics, introduction to electrodynamics paper or other book of 623 pages. Is this something that maybe is relevant to you or not, or relevant to the topic? You are the expert. You choose, you decide whether you want to use that source or not. I can deselect all of them from here. And I did notice there was a YouTube video as well. I'm going to keep the YouTube video here and I'm going to import just one more source. Sometime when we add a source, it may be behind what we call as a paid walls, right? So there is a subscription-based content which you will not be able to add to NotebookLM. So that will show up in red. So you can always remove these sources as well. That's the magic. It's all ready now to start exploring. And we are looking at the, some little chat already happening based on the two sources here. You can also start chatting, interacting with it by asking questions, typing questions, or follow these little prompts that are showing up right at the bottom. So if you think this is a question that you are, wanting to ask, click on it. What are the core principles like induction and force, govern the functioning of various specialized electromagnetic devices, and it starts answering to the prompt. What is also important is to pay attention to these little numbers. These numbers are telling you from where this answer has been selected. And that has come from one of these two sources only. So if you click on it, it will open up the source. It will tell you from where it has come. So that is what we meant by saying that, the responses are going to be grounded in the sources that has been shared. It will not come from the web, from anywhere else. So if you ask something like, when was Shakespeare born, or where was it born, right? So if you ask something like that, when was Shakespeare born? If I ask something like this, let's see what it does. So let's ask, so it says I cannot provide the date of Shakespeare based on the sources. So it is only answering from on the basis of the sources that we have done. Let's not miss out the third side of this NotebookLM panel, where you can create audio overviews, video overviews, mind map, reports, flashcards, quiz, and of course, as I said, in Pro version of Gemini Pro, you would be able to create infographic and slide deck. Right now, it's in beta mode for us. I won't be able to show you the demo of that right here, but definitely it's available if you would want to do that. So instead of waiting for these things to work, although I'm going to activate at least one video overview, trying to show you that you can customize the video overviews, what style of artwork you want, what visual style you want, and whether you want watercolor or you want retro paint or heritage. Paper craft is my favorite, and you can choose that. Do you want a brief or you want an explainer video? Brief will go a little faster, explainer takes a little time to process. But audio overviews, again, all these features are there. Do you want to do a deep dive into your topic? So again, remember how you're going to use this. You have all the content that you're learning. You want to understand it better. You want to quiz yourself on it. You want to create these podcasts that you can perhaps download and you can hear on the go as you revise your topic. Deep dive might be the way. You can have also brief, critique, debate, short, default, long, and not to forget different languages. So if you like to learn in your mother tongue, you can choose from here the language in which you want to hear or chat or respond as well. But right now, audio overview. So all of that is possible. As I said, I have some examples ready. So let's try and see what they look like when I say you can create this and that. So I have something here on electromagnetic theory. I have almost like 30 sources added in. And these are the things that I have kept ready to showcase to you. So you can have a quiz created, flashcards created. So you can see that flashcards that we were trying in the Gemini, similar to that, but now only on the source that you have, the content that you have identified. So you can have all of that coming up. You can start again revising. What's the phenomena discovered by Michael Faraday? Think if you know the answer, otherwise flip. If you are not sure where it has come from, click on explain. It will take you right to one of the sources from where the information is taken, right? Hopefully that's making sense to you. That is something which is going to help you to say that, yes, I'm confident that what I'm learning is correct. This is what I learned in class. This is relatable. And this is what I'm going to be able to use immediately next day or in an exam or putting together my research. So that's what the flashcards can do. Let's try to see another very interesting output, mind map. So when you have so much content, then having a mind map breaks it down. And the beauty is each of these nodes is interactive. You can click and open each one of them and try to see, what it means, what it does. Again, if you want to dig deeper, click on any one of them and it will take you into the chat. It will consult the sources and it will give you more information on that. I hope you're, excited to try this out. Last But again, I might not be able to, make you hear this, because I know that the earlier audio didn't go through. But this is what you are looking at as the video that can be created out of the sources, and also the audio. So here is the video. I'm going to play that. So you may not be able to hear. So what I'm going to show you that the images will change depending on the content that we have added in. It will be, in this case, it's almost a 10 minutes long video. It can be a brief video. It can be specific to what you want to learn. Give it that, use the pen icon. And it's not only one video that you can create. You can create multiple audio, multiple video overviews as well, depending on what you want to learn from there. You can tweak that, right? Audio overview, as I said, yes, that's also available. I've created here almost a very short 2 minutes, since that audio is not transmitting. So I'm not going to take time on that, but definitely is the most interesting and impressive part of the Notebook LM. So this is something which is a must try. Do try it out. Think of, how it would help you to revisit your concepts, lessons that you have learned, notes that you have so many on, coming in your course, which you are not able to, process and identify. Looking at the time and closing into a little bit of where you would use higher ed student as a Notebook LM, so much possible. And by the way, this infographic is created using Notebook LM only. So using the Notebook LM and using also the Gemini 3, the infographic has been created on where or when are you going to be, putting together the use of Notebook LM in your context. Efficient reading and summarization, targeted Q&A and test prep, idea generation and essay outlining, and multi-format study. Definitely multi-format study aids, as you saw, the flashcards or the quiz or audio overview reports that can be generated, etc. So definitely try to create audio overviews because they are amazing. You can also interact with those audio overviews by clicking on join and having a chat with the hosts who are talking about the same topic. That's the magic of Notebook LM. I hope you're going to try these out and come back to looking at these. Last but not the least, would you want to use it in your personal life? Maybe you are looking for a job. So what can you use Notebook LM for? Go to Notebook LM, create a new notebook, add your resume, also the job that you are interested in, any additional information about the company where you are applying, right? Check your match. Ask the chat, does my skill fit the job? It will test through all that you have shared. Also, it will advise you what are the 3 top skills that you need for this job, what are the skills that I am missing, and then make your application stronger by saying, okay, how can I best show my skill? How do I project my experience? Have that chat with Notebook LM just with the resources as your resume or the post that you are applying for. And don't forget the company profile, because your profile has to match what the company is looking for. This is one small interesting fact that I wanted to share with all of you, leaving you with the thought that always try to use good quality sources, be specific, explore the generated content in Notebook LM, also check the citations, save to note so that you can get back to that chat later. And of course, iteration is the best way to get most out of Gemini. With that, I'm going to stop here and hand over the stage to Sushma ma'am, looking at how things progress for you, wishing you all the best, and ending up with just a thank you note to all. So over to you, ma'am.
Hi, thank you very much, Sangeeta ma'am. That was extremely comprehensive and very, very well explained. All the detailing, all the nitty-gritties and the finer points, the nuances. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your expertise. Thank you to all the participants who have joined us today on our journey on behalf of Google Gemini team. Just a quick reminder that you must fill in the feedback form. The link is in the description. Based on the completion of that feedback form, which besides the fact that it's very important for us, your certificate would be issued, because it is only when we receive that will we have been able to record you as having attended this excellent session. So you could do that straight away. Click on the link. The second link, you will see two links. The second link is an amazing document on 50 ways to use Google Gemini, of which probably all 50 have been covered by Sangeeta ma'am, but it's a good ready reckoner. So you can go through that at leisure. In your email, you will also receive another document, which is a survey. We would request you to fill that in as well. So if there is anything else from the Google team or from Sangeeta ma'am, please do speak to our audience. Otherwise, we will now once again thank everyone and close the session. Anything from you, Sangeeta ma'am?
I think we have covered a lot. So I would suggest everyone to try these out and, plan to put them in practice, because more you play with these tools, better you will learn. And maybe then reach out if you still have a doubt as we go along. We'll try to help you out, because I do see some questions that have been shared. Most of them will get answered once you start using the tool. So wishing you all a very good luck, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.